These dots are shop customers moving around the store in real time. It's actually their mobiles that are being tracked, and it's happening without their owner's knowledge. When your device is searching for a Wi-Fi network to connect to, it repeatedly broadcasts short pings of information which include the device's unique identification number, something called a MAC address. The system here listens for these pings, and by triangulating their origin, it can get a pretty accurate idea of where you've been, even if you never actually connect to the Wi-Fi.
From this location map, we know exactly where a lot of people are spending time, and there's a way we can filter the data, how many minutes they are spending time. So for example, if you know they are spending 3 minutes in the chilled area, that helps us to improve more and more and to increase more time to the customers.
Although your device's MAC address doesn't tell the system anything about you, as soon as you connect to the free Wi-Fi offered in and around the shop, everything changes. When you log in with Facebook, Twitter, or an email address, all of that historic location data is then linked to your profile, to you. And it's not just within the walls of the shop that the Wi-Fi system logs data. It also picks up thousands of passers-by every day, many of whom may never enter the shop at all. Now, this system works on something the size of a shop, but in York, the analytics company behind it, Purple Wi-Fi, is planning something on a much larger scale. By 2015, it's hoping to install the same tracking technology across whole parts of the city. Unlike the shop-based system, at the moment it's still quite limited and only tracks your rough location, even once you've logged on. But even that information is proving useful to York's council.
It's early days and it's only been up and running for a few weeks, but already we can actually tell the people who are using the Wi-Fi where they're coming from in terms of origin and actually where they're going within York. So as an authority and businesses, we're getting a better insight to that footfall. We've actually seen the vast majority of people logging on are from middle-aged females from outside of the UK.
When the full location tracking and profiling system goes live next year, the deal will be this. You get free Wi-Fi in exchange for information about who you are and where you've been. So, is this a fair trade? Purple Wi-Fi's boss told me that you would see plenty of benefits if you're willing to give up that information.
In a city type scenario like this, it's understanding where are the choke points, where's the traffic of people, how do they move, and if you take it a step further, you can start to take that data and control lighting or parking. So if an area's got no people, why are the lights on?
But it does mean that before you actually log on to the Wi-Fi, you don't have so much information about that particular device's movements, which
no.
I guess is annoying.
It is and it isn't. I mean, I think there's a value in understanding the way devices generally move around, because that shows you some of the footfall and just anonymous data, so that is useful. Where it becomes really interesting though is once we know more about you, we know your age, your gender, your social interests, who you're friends with in the city, because that's when we can start to push hyper-local relevant information.
But here's the thing. Remember that the system can match your personal information to your device's movements even before you logged onto the network? Well, Purple Wi-Fi is planning to keep that location data for up to a year. How do you think people would feel about knowing that you know where they've been?
Yeah, I mean, we weren't tracking you for 12 months.
But you were tracking my device.
We were tracking
which is as good as
a device.
A device that you now know is mine. So you now know where I've been for the last 12 months.
Absolutely. And to be honest, every bit of feedback we've had from users is, if you're giving me something relevant, I'm happy. If you're going to send me a load of spammy stuff, don't bother.
Now, all this information is there in the terms and conditions that need to be accepted before you log on. You know, those terms and conditions, the ones that we all read thoroughly before we click OK. Do you think people actually read those terms and conditions?
I think if you take anything in life, do people read terms and conditions of Facebook? How many people have ever read Facebook's terms and conditions? It'll be sub 1%. No, I don't think people do.
Have you ever read through the terms and conditions when you've logged on to free Wi-Fi?
I don't personally. So there's not a right and wrong answer, is there?
Do you think that the message click here to view the terms and conditions goes far enough?
I think it does, and I think any terms and conditions of any network usage comes with that value trade-off of your experience. You're going to get the free Wi-Fi comes at a small value of trading off some of your personal information.
Is there an option for people to join the Wi-Fi but opt out of having their MAC addresses recorded and tracked?
No.
Do you think there should be?
No. I think it's a fair exchange of value. There is a cost to put equipment up, to provide the connectivity, to provide no overlay of software, and it's a fair exchange of value. You want free Wi-Fi because you don't want to use up your data. The exchange of value is that you're going to share that data.
These sorts of insights are only possible because of the unique combination of location information and demographic social media information. But the harvesting of anonymous device information is described as a grey area in terms of data protection. In fact, last year the City of London banned Wi-Fi-enabled dustbins installed on public streets after it emerged that they too were logging MAC addresses in a similar way without getting explicit consent from passers-by.